back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today I'm going to go over a story titled, Am I the A-hole for telling the truth about my relationship between my wife and I told my two best friends who are very worried about me? And guys, this is about a guy who's only 30 years old, married just a year. 1 year and already it's a big freaking mess. To a gal that he rushed into a relationship with and a marriage with. And no surprise, when real life hits them, her true colors have come out. And they ain't good. And this story is an example of a guy who really trying, but she isn't trying at all. Puts the blame on him, acts like nothing's wrong, plays mind games and all that. And this is an example when it's just time to cut your losses and move on. Life is short, guys. And you're married to someone, and this can go for the women watching this too. If you're married to a guy that behaves in this way, really, unless you're super religious and have crazy strict rules about divorce that you must, in your view or your religious faith view, you must adhere. And even then, life's short. And if somebody is proven to be, you haven't gotten to know well enough, and they are generally just a piece of garbage, cut your losses and move on. And you're going to see here, he tries. He tries and tries, and no matter what, nothing wrong with her. And obviously, you're going to see how she definitely loses it. And then our guy here is going to be in the process of handling it right. But very much important, guys, don't be like this guy, or at least if this happens to you, cut your losses and move on. You will see here. So it starts off, says here, my wife, let us call her Amy, and I have been together for 4 years, living together for 2 and married for 1. Dude, you got married to her that quickly? Smack! Clearly didn't know her enough. I can go on and on about the beauty our relationship has had, and there's a reason I moved practically across the USA for her, much to the shock of my two best friends. Let us call them Jeff and Adam. Both are 30 years old. Smack! Rushing across the country for her? Well, that's not good. It's safe to say that we have had our good moments, and there's also a lot of things that connect us, and I really could see a future with her. There was a lot of growing into each other over time, and a lot we endured to get to the point where we felt like a good move to move in together. I get along with her family very well, her friends very well, and it felt like we meshed seamlessly. Then it hit a huge wall. Well, that's what happens when you rush things or give up everything to go cross country for her. A rough year hit us when Amy's mom got really sick, to the point we weren't sure if she was going to make it or not. She ended up recovering, thankfully. The whole family rallied around her. All this on top of Amy's stressful work. She's a finance worker. Led her to tell me one night that she uncharacteristically got really mad at me, that she was severely depressed, and to the point I was worried about her well-being. I want to go back to her being very stressful with her finance worker job. There's plenty of jobs out there that, they're going to have a lot more stress than that. But I don't know, does she work on Wall Street? I'm guessing probably not. This led to a fallout between us where she refused to get help, started to even deny that she was depressed in the first place, refused to talk about it, and got angry at me for bringing up any of it, and even though I kept suggesting therapy, and just turned cold on me. Well, we all go through hard times, but she doesn't handle it very well, and putting the blame on you. This is why you're with somebody for a long time, dealing with life's little situations, before you decide to marry them to see how they handle these situations. After a while, it got so emotionally manipulative. She mentioned that if I were to leave, she'd grab the sharpest thing she could find when I wasn't there. Oh, that ain't good. This is a problem. It got bad to the point where I made sure the proper support was around her at the time, made sure 2 trusted family members knew the situation, and I just left. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why the F are you back in this position, and why doesn't the story just end with a divorce? Because I let her reel me back in. Smack! Well, I'm not surprised. And I thought that maybe if we actually did the therapy like we were supposed to, we can fix things. Which she so brazenly threw my face that I was the one that gave up. I was the one who left that night, even though she never wanted to even try therapy until that point. And I'll admit, at the moment, I felt so guilty, it overwhelmed me, as if I was a failure for not doing enough, so I came back. Look, you try to help. You want to help your loved ones, obviously your wife. But it sounds to me that, and where this is going, she's not exactly that great. Not much of a loving person. Actually has a lot of negative qualities. And the whole offering, saying she's going to do something with a sharp object if you leave her, these aren't good things. She needs professional help beyond what you're capable of. And you don't need this ruining your life. Well, here we are. Therapy is not working because lo and behold, she still doesn't show up and only showed up for the very first appointment and nothing after, and does not do any of the stuff the therapist recommends at home. I can't really talk to anybody else because in her mind, the most important thing that makes her happy is me being here and us doing shit like watching TV, playing with the dogs, and hanging out with people who still have no clue what's actually going on. So in other words, she wants to pretend nothing's wrong. It's not my problem, it's your problem. You're imagining shit. My buddies Adam and Jeff care a lot about me, and we've all been good friends for almost 10 effing years. And they were the first to know when I first left and what really happened. And they were asking me if things are now getting better, and I told them the truth. That no, they are not. Well, on the surface, it seems fine, but underneath, no work is being done in actuality, because she likes to pretend it never happened. And you can't live like this, man. She always asked when she knows I talked to Adam and Jeff, what we talked about, and if we talked about how our relationship is doing, because she doesn't like me talking about it at all. And sometimes I skate around it, but this time I said we did and told them the truth. Hey, if women are allowed to unload to their friends everything and anything about their relationships and their guys, a man can talk to his bros about things. And hey, she doesn't want to go to therapy. She doesn't want to admit there's a problem. So understandably, this guy's going to talk to his bros. And she doesn't like it, because she doesn't want to be painted anything but less than perfect. She got really upset and went into her feelings like she'll never be good enough, and I overvalue therapy as a basis for how our relationship is doing. She doesn't like to acknowledge how effed up I am mentally still over everything. She doesn't like to acknowledge how effed up I am and mentally still over everything, and even more, how effed up she still is. Any advice on what to do other than just pack my bags at this point for good? Am I the a-hole for speaking up for myself? No, bro, you're not at all. She's got genuine problems. Anybody else says they're going to get a sharp object and do something themselves, they got some problems on multiple fronts. And the fact that she's doesn't want to get help, doesn't think there's a problem, all that, and you're that unhappy, yeah, this is a big deal. Now, what's done is done. You married her too soon. You rushed across the country to be with her on her turf. That's never a good idea for the guy to do that. It's been proven this countless times. But life is short. You're only, how the hell old are you? 30 years old. You're young. You're young to me. You got a whole life ahead of you, but this is just simply not working. But you stay with someone like this, it's going to get worse and worse. But you guys can see how they behave and make it out to be the guy's problem. Now we're going to get into part 2, where things are getting worse. And oh yes, things will lead in the right direction in the end, at least for him. Says here, after that post, I took some time to try and process everything that I was feeling. Her sister hosted a Christmas party, which we attended, and it was a good change of pace. Amy enjoyed it, so that was nice, and I do enjoy being with her family, so it was good to see them. Sounds to me like he also married her family, or married her for her family, not just because of her. Fast forward a few days afterwards, Amy and I were going grocery shopping, and on the way back, I was thinking of our next therapy session that I had scheduled. I talked to Adam and Jeff, my two bros, from the previous post, about how I was going to use this session to really see how much hope there is to have a future, and really lay my emotions completely on the table about the hurt and damage I feel that's been hard to talk to her about because of our communication degraded. No, her communication degraded, not yours, man. You've been trying. Her actions show she doesn't care. Thinking about the session got me really worked up, and knowing it was coming soon affected my mood, and Amy could tell I was feeling low. So she asked me what was up. I told her I would rather talk about it later, but she said she wanted to talk about it right now. Well, I got no problem talking about it right now. I told her I was feeling stressed and overwhelmed with the upcoming therapy session, and thinking about it brings back a lot of bad memories, and it's just been a hard day for me so far because of that. It was at that point she told me she didn't think this was going to work, and she wanted a divorce. Dude, we can see this coming a mile away. You should be doing a cartwheel by now, jumping up and down, celebrating, light some fireworks off in the backyard. Well, no. And by the way, guys, you're going to see there's a lot of up and down manipulation tactics here. It's just not good. At that point, a mixture of numbness and heartache really hit. Because on the one hand, I felt like I was questioning on whether staying was best or not. And another, it was still a painful ripping out of my heart because I still love her a lot. It was a pretty silent car ride home after that, and I thought, well, the next move is now clear. As we got home, I pretty much said goodbye to our dogs and said I'll start looking in the process for an apartment and want to make sure the divorce is as painless as possible. Dude, You shouldn't be leaving the dogs with her. No freaking way. You can let her think that, get your place to move out, and take the dogs. Someone like that that's threatening to harm themselves if you leave, I don't know what may happen to the poor dogs. Take them. Let her freaking fight you on it. Then she said, guess what? She wants to go to therapy all of a sudden. This confused the fuck out of me because she just told me we were done and she wanted a divorce. And I felt like she was playing with my heart at this point. She was. Darn right she was. I was resistant to it when she asked me why I wasn't willing to give it another chance, and I told her you just broke up with me. She's toying with you, brother. This is what some of them do. Our therapist is a nice lady and said regardless of what happens, come to our other session to hash things out. It's pretty illuminating for her, but at the same time it felt raw and effed up for me to even be there. She's telling me now she's ready to do whatever it takes to be better, but I think I can't trust anything she's saying anymore. So I'll be staying with Adam for the meantime as I told him what happened and he offered for me to crash his place for a bit while I figure things out. And that's where it ends in the story. And I'm going to read some comments and he has more that he reveals here. And by the way, guys, he is in fact divorcing her, which I'll reveal momentarily, just so you know. But this goes to show you just the drama that guys can get themselves wrapped into and how you can have some mental gals out there. And whether they do it intentionally or not, you can get the manipulation games and toying with your emotions and the up and downs and all that. It's not worth it. But again, this is why you don't rush into things. You want to be with somebody for a while to see what they're really like before you do that. Now, here's a few questions and comments he says, revealing that he's getting rid of her. One guy says to him, seeing as in the last post you described a lot of manipulation, her sudden desire to work things out seems like a desperate grab and not genuine. This is what emotional abusers do. I think the only chance you have should be given here is separation for at least 6 months to a year, and you can each do therapy separately and see where she is then. But anyone who can say they're doing great in 6 months, you would have to decide on tangible changes that you could see. Well, this guy trying to meet him halfway, but I think he shouldn't be with her. And our guy says, it's tough to say whether or not the year-long separation would be good here, because the feeling I'm getting from her right now is that what she's been telling me is she really wants a straight-up yes or no answer on whether I want to keep trying for the marriage, because now she says she's ready to do whatever it takes. And I need to show her whether I'm committed or not, which seems unhealthy given what just happened. And like you said, it's hard to gauge what exactly happens in 6 months. I think it's best to just end it at this point because the incompatibility is just getting too big. Yes, exactly. End it. Another guy says to him, it sounds like you both have serious doubts about the marriage. There are many ways this can work out, but it's unlikely it ends up with you two together and happy. There's no future with those two happy. She's not capable of that. You clearly have communication issues. It'll be important to work on those. Even if you split, you need to coordinate discovering your lies together, and communication issues will make that painful. I think you should sit down and become very clear under what circumstances you would want to stay married and encourage your wife to do the same. Try to be really clear, and use the therapist. She'll help you communicate. If you decide to split, you sound like a good candidate for collaborative divorce, which has a lot of advantages. And our guy says, there's communication issues that we both had a hand in creating. I'm not always the best at setting proper boundaries, and that has created situations in the past where people have taken advantage of me. I'm not surprised there. And that's really on me to work on. With Amy, I try my best to voice my concerns or feelings on them in a healthy and non-judgmental manner. But it's been extremely difficult and really burned me out at this point. Hopefully the divorce process goes smoothly. At the end of the day, I've told her I don't hate her or hold any ill will. I just don't know if I can keep being in this cycle anymore. So anyhow, guys, sounds pretty much he's divorcing her. But I still say, get an apartment, get your shit out of there, take the dogs, whether she likes it or not, And you could have proof, probably through your therapist, to prove if necessary that she's unhinged and all that. Protect those dogs at all costs. But anyhow, guys, this is the point of this whole thing is you don't rush into things like that. You get to know your girl a lot and how some definitely mentally ill people out there. And I don't want to give her a pass because maybe she's just an asshole and just taking advantage of him. But either she's mentally ill or she is an asshole and is playing mind games, manipulation tactics and all that. But when you see that type of stuff, guys, it's best to just cut your losses and move on. They haven't been together that long. I've been married that long. I think a year. Freaking year, and already this is going on. And he's young. He's 30. At least he's young to me. Life is not worth it, And she's not behaving any way she loves her guy. So another example, guys, you got to cut your losses sometimes and move on. Alright guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.